extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 47 years ago, stand by the roll show intro. Roll show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America. Family, friends, listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show. I am Craig L. Hayes. It is, let's see, it's still cold here in Enterprise. It's about 35 degrees outside. It's January 29th, 2025. We are almost done with January already. It seems like it just started, but here we go. It's almost gone. Anyhow, I was watching the news today, and I heard something that I thought was awesome, incredible, and proper. I heard that Mike Huckabee, the ambassador of the United States to Israel, has said the U.S. will no longer refer to the West Bank, which is part of where the Palestinians live towards where Jordan is, as the West Bank. It will be referred to in its proper term as Judea and Samaria. I thought, how fantastic. It's about time we start naming these places after the actual cities, areas, territories, whatever you want to call it, of Israel. A lot of people got upset with that, of course. But who cares? Who cares if people are upset about calling once again, not renaming, but naming and going with the original names of those areas that they have been for 4,000 years. It's only been Palestine or Palestinians or whatever like that for, 100 years, maybe a little bit more. I'm not sure. It is Israel. All that area that Israel sits in is Israel. It's not the West Bank of Jordan. It's not the Gaza Strip where Palestinians live. Those are areas of Israel. And I find it very interesting how much the left and other people get crazy when you say stuff like that. And how much they say, yeah, but Palestinians have been there forever. No, they have not. Let's go back about 125, maybe a little bit longer years ago. None of those nations, other than Egypt and Syria and Lebanon, basically existed. There was no such thing as Jordan. There was a Jordan River. There was a little enclave up there called Jordan, but the actual nation state of Jordan with its defined lines did not exist some 125 years ago. Saudi Arabia did not exist 125 years ago or so. United Arab Emirates didn't exist. Bahrain did not exist. Brunei did not exist. Kuwait did not exist. Defined areas, Iraq, even though it was there, was called Babylon. Iran was Persia. We can go on and on. Even Pakistan, the defined borders of those places never really existed until after World War I. Maybe somewhat before that, but defined after World War I, European colonization decided they were going to draw lines on a map. And in doing so, they created what's now Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Jordan, the nation of Jordan, we'll call it, and defined areas around Syria. Syria existed, let's keep that straight. Lebanon, it existed. But not with defined borders like they have today. So, when they drew these lines, they included part of Israel into the area of, or we should say, defined, Jordan into the areas of Israel. They now call it the West Bank of Jordan. It has never been the West Bank of Jordan. The nation state of Jordan never existed. In 70 AD, when the Romans conquered Israel and took them off into the northern lands, as the Bible says, the people that were left, there were Jews left behind, but the nation did not exist any longer. The nomadic tribes of the Arabics, Jordanians, Palestinians, whatever you want to call them, they did exist, nomadic tribes, but not nation states. So they started living there. In 1948, when Israel was granted its own homeland again, back to its original borders from some 2,000 years prior, wars broke out because people said that's our land. The Palestinians became, the people that were there called themselves Palestinians. But there's never been a nation called Palestine. There's never been a nation called, the people called the Palestinians. So let's not confuse ourselves. When Palestinians, Jordanians, Syrians, Lebanese, Egyptians say that the Israelis are squatters or that they are improper settlers in those areas, how can you be a settler in your own land? Are the Native Americans that lived here prior to the white man coming to here, are they considered settlers in certain parts of the land? Are they settlers in what is our land now, called white people? And we shouldn't even take it that far. I'm making an example here. I don't care if I offend anybody, but I'm trying to be kind of clear on this stuff. How about the people that live in what's now called Canada? The native people there. Are the natives just settlers in that land now? How about Alaskans? Called native or indigenous people. They used to be called Eskimos when I was a kid. I don't know what they call them now. I think it's just native people or something like that. I'd have to ask my son. He was up there for a few years. But anyhow, how can you be a settler in your own land? In your own nation? You can't. If anything, And listen carefully on this one. If anything, after Israel was conquered and people were taken into the north, its people were taken to the north, the 10 tribes, leaving only 2 tribes behind in Israel. If anything, the people that moved in there after Israel was gone, they are the squatters. Though Israel did not live or exist as a nation state, the land was still there, and there were people there that were Jewish. It is their nation. So let's not have all this discussion about we have to stop with all the Israeli settlements in areas that are in conflict. No, the people that are in there that are squatters, i.e. Palestinians, need to go back to their Jordanian, Saudi Arabian areas where they came from. The people of Gaza need to be shipped over to Jordan or Saudi Arabia or into Egypt or any other Arabic or Islamic nation that will take them. But nobody wants them. Because the people of Palestine, the Palestinians, people in Gaza, and the ones in Samaria and Judea, they are terrorist people. And any nation that accepts large groups of them in always has internal conflicts, and the people come from these areas, Gaza and Samaria and Judea, usually try to overthrow the nation that they go into. So nobody wants them. Nobody wants them. When the people of Gaza, these so-called Palestinians, took 100% control of that area that we call Gaza today, it's one of the most beautiful areas. They could have so much in the way of tourism and grow plentiful food supplies for their people. And I think that off the coast of that area, there are massive natural gas reserves underneath the ocean. They could be some of the richest people and the happiest people around. But the people who run that, known as Hamas, they don't care about any of that. The people live in squalor. They live in terrible conditions. Anything that helps the people prosper is destroyed. And the people are all told that they have to be part of the Hamas terrorist brigade, help to dig tunnels to invade Israel. And so they go along with that lie. But then they put their hands out and say, well, can somebody come feed us and someone take care of us? No, I don't think we should. I honestly don't think we should. I don't think we should give them any aid, any assistance. I think we should just wall them off. Israel should put a wall around them like we're going to put on our southern border. Not let any of them in there. No one can go to, it's a no-go for Israelis, and Israel's a no-go for people of Gaza. Now, if they want to go travel someplace else, they can't go through Israel. And did you see the first thing that happened when the war broke out is the Egyptians went down to their border, down where Gaza is, and put up walls, fences, razor wire, make sure that none of those people could get through to Egypt. They don't want them. So the people there should just take and figure out how to live and exist. And Israel should cordon that whole thing off and make sure that there's any shipment, anything that goes in there is checked and seized by the Israelis, so that only thing can go in there is farm equipment, mechanical equipment to build housing or whatever like that. But I really believe that the areas in northern Gaza should be destroyed, leveled, and have a nice big buffer zone between them and the people in the south. Push all those people down to the south. I know, well, there's 1 million or 2 people. Well, too bad. You guys supported Hamas. This is called consequences. Would Israel do that? Oh, I don't know. Should they do it? Oh, I absolutely think they should. I absolutely think they should push those people at least down into a very, very tiny area of only a few square miles down into the southern area of Gaza and then wall them in down there. And that's where they get to stay since they decided they wanted to participate in the murder and invasion of Israelis in Israel. So, drastic, yeah, that'd take care of that problem. And let's not forget, I think the U.S., if we didn't have such an idiot in the White House called Joe Biden, who's cares more about the people of Hamas, terrorists of Hamas, and the people of Gaza than he does Americans that had been captured, tortured, and murdered by these filthy animals. If I'd have had my way, I was president of the United States, I would have carpet bombed for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, all of Gaza. There wouldn't have been anything standing. That would have been hey, people of the world, you harm Americans anywhere in the world, we come to you and we level you. And then we're leaving and leave nothing but craters and blown up buildings and call it good. Get our point across and leave. So, what to do with the people in Samaria and Judea? That's where Hezbollah is strong. Remember, these are terrorist organizations from Iran. Iran controls all of them. Well, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to take out the nuclear sites that are being developed in Iran, take out their oil-producing facilities, and then make sure they can't sell one drop of oil on the world market, and then anybody who does buy their oil or tries to buy their oil, we sanction them, and then those nations are not allowed to do any business with the United States. We collapse Iran. Collapse Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas fall too. And then we have to deal with the Palestinians, or Israel can deal with the Palestinians and move their borders to where they originally are supposed to be, and tell the Palestinians you need to go back to Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, somewhere. We don't care, but just, as Schwarzenegger would say, get out. But that's my opinion on how you should handle that area of the world that has been fighting each other and throwing rocks at each other and for I don't know how long. It's my entire life and longer. So let's not get stuck and tell Israel that they're doing wrong by building settlements. No, they're building housing in their land, in their territory. They're not building settlements. They're rebuilding cities in their areas of Judea and Samaria. They're rebuilding their nation and expanding their nation and making the territories that is theirs again. And the people who are living there right now can either live in peace or they need to leave. Because it's very, very simple. If the people of Judea and Samaria and Gaza would lay down their weapons and kick Hamas and Hezbollah out of there would be nothing but peace throughout that land. But if Israel was to ever lay down their weapons, those people would invade and kill everybody in Israel. Remember when they say it, to believe them. When they say from the Jordan to the sea, Palestine will be free. Well, there's no such thing as Palestine, but they mean Israel. And we have these local idiots showing up on universities and around here chanting the same thing, they have the same contempt for Israel as they do for the United States. Those idiots should be gathered up, if they're here as students from another country, gathered up and sent back to their nations of origin. We do not have to put up with people from other countries, their crap in our nation. We believe people have free speech, but also free speech has consequences. If you're a citizen of this country and you say that stuff, you should be considered an idiot, and maybe we should watch you to see what kind of terrorist you're going to turn into. If you're from another country, you're free to say that too, but there's a plane waiting for you to take you back home where you can chant that crap all day long. If you're a university professor chanting that crap, I think that the university should terminate your employment for starting this kind of crap in this country. You have the right to say what you want, but there's no such thing as no consequences for your actions. But anyways, I thought that was a little bit of a history lesson. And I just wanted to point out one more thing on this. You know, at the end of World War I, they could have solved so many problems. We didn't need to have World War II, but the arrogance of European leaders over there at the Versailles Treaty, when they all got together and decided to put these borders in here and there and punish Germany and do all these things that they did. Such arrogance the European colonization group had all over Africa and all over the Middle East. Pretty disgusting. And then to draw lines and tell people, now you're in this country. Well, but I'm Persian. I don't belong to the people of Babylon. Too bad you're behind this line that we just drew on the map. You're now Babylonian. You're not Persian anymore. Well, then who am I? I used to be part of the Babylonian. No, you're part of the Kuwait nation. What is that? We don't know. We just call it Kuwait. But you're in charge. We're going to put you in charge because you're friendly. Were you in charge? You in charge. We're going to put all you people in charge, and you'll still answer to us because even though we're giving you back your calling it nations that you're in charge of, we're going to still control you from Europe because we just can't help doing that because we come from empires and we come from nations that tried to conquer everybody and just filthy, disgusting stuff. Why did Europeans pretty much deserve most of the stuff that happened to them? Because they could have stopped it. They could have settled it. They could have made it so it didn't happen. So why did they do it? Power, control, wealth, everything else. Arrogance, payback, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, I just wanted to say what I thought today when I saw Mike Huckabee as the ambassador, when he told him that we will no longer refer to the North Bank as the North Bank. We're going to refer to it in its nation as part of Israel as Judea and Samaria. Things are changing, and things are changing quick. And I'm loving just about every moment of it. So anyways, that's this episode, and I think with that, I'll leave that, and Talbot, take it away.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.